Fail better. Fail better and bigger. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the premise of this video. And I'm going to explain how I came to this and why it's valuable with what I did yesterday. I was surfing, and by no means am I a good surfer. I don't do it regularly. I do it once a year probably. But I went and did this, and I wanted to be good. I want to be good at everything I do. Who doesn't? You don't want to be appalling at everything you try. So I wanted to be pretty good at this. So I thought, what I usually do is I do what I can do popping up in a wave. But I'm going to change that today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fail big. I'm going to get on the board. And in the beginning of the day, I might slip on like a tiny wave. And hopefully, by the end of the day, I slip on a massive wave. Or I fall off, or I mess up or pop up on a massive wave. And that was my goal. It was to get on the board as much as possible and fall off the board as much as possible. And that wasn't meaning I deliberately tried to do something bad, but if I did not do something good, so I did something bad, no problem. What? That was my goal to begin with. So it took away the fear of failure, because I can't fail. If I win, I've won. And if I don't win, like if I fail, well, that was my goal. So I've achieved my goal. So I either win or achieve my goal. So I got rid of the fear of failure, which meant I did it a lot easier and a lot quicker and a lot more. So I got up on the board. In the beginning of the day, I failed on a tiny wave. And then I kept failing on the tiny wave. I kept trying to do a bigger wave until I got it. And not until I got it, just I kept trying to do bigger waves. And by the end of the day, I was failing on a massive wave. But that also meant, by the end of the day, on a large wave, just slightly below that massive wave, I could coast in easily. Maybe not very impressive, but from slipping off on a tiny wave to paddling in, catching a big wave, gliding in, and getting a cheer from people. It wasn't that impressive, but they were supportive, so I was pretty happy. But that can be applied to many things in life. And if you've watched Alex Hormozi, which I talk about a lot, he says a great salesperson is a salesman who's been told no 1,000 times. And I never understood that. So I was like, if you've been told no 1,000 times, you're pretty shocking. Like, you've been told no 1,000 times. But what it really means is that they've kept doing it over and over again. They've done it so many times, and they've been told no so many times that they know not how to get a no. So you don't need to learn how to succeed, you just need to learn how to not fail. It's like, I never learned how to surf a great wave, I just learned how to not fuck up a big wave. Like, you just learn from doing it. And in the beginning, and take a business approach from it, as a salesman, you might mess up $100 retainer client. And by the end, you might mess up $1 million retainer client. You might go, you messed up a $1 million retainer client. How have you improved in any way? Like, that's a big loss. But you can easily get a 500k retainer client. Like, okay, that's a big, it's probably not possible, but like, well, enterprise, probably. But 500k copywriting client, easy. Million, oh, failed at that. But then 5 years from now, you might fail at 2 million, but $1 million's easy. So you get my point. It's to fail bigger. It's to fail better. Doing more things, harder things, failing at them, but meaning the thing just below that you can do easily now. But if you had worked up and going, okay, I got my 100 quid client, I'm going to keep getting 100 quid clients until I can definitely get a 200 quid client. Definitely, and there's no fear of failure. There's no chance I can fail. And then like 10 years down the line, you might be getting 2k clients, which is pretty good. But 10 years down the line, I might be getting 150k clients and screwing up 300k clients. I'm pretty okay to screw up a 300k client because I have 150. Like, see what I mean? So if you're afraid of failing, the thing is, what stops a lot of people from succeeding is fearing the failure. But if we eliminate that fear of failure, then we eliminate an action threshold. So our ability to take action is now easier. It's now enhanced. And we can do that by changing our goals a bit. In Atomic Habits, he talked about a salesman who was so good, and not because he knew some great techniques, not because he had the greatest sales script in the world, and probably not because he had the greatest coaching in the world, but because what he did was he sat with a jar of like thumbtacks, like little pin things, made a call, finished the call, moved it over, made a call, moved it from the one jar, from the full jar to the empty jar, and he wouldn't stop making calls until he had moved all of those pins. And he'd done that loads of times. And that's kind of what the premise I'm getting at. But the reason why I say to fail is because then that takes out the fear of failure. It's eliminated then. So not only do you continuously do it, which is what you need repetition to improve at anything, but also to start doing it, you have no fears, you have no worries. What if I fail at this sales call? Who cares? That's the goal. You just want to get on as many as possible. So you're either winning, you're like making money, or you're surfing the wave, or you're learning. So either way, you're getting closer to your goal. Both work. And I'll take you the reverse of this, what happens when you don't. So I'm a rugby player. And what I try to do in rugby is not miss a tackle. And that seems like a smart idea. But I'm not great at tackling. I don't make a lot of big tackles. I don't miss too many tackles, but I don't make great tackles. And sometimes I do miss tackles because I've never made that type of tackle before. So what I'm going to say is, if I were to change this, my goal is not to never miss a tackle. My goal is to just make 100 tackles. And if I get sidestepped out of here, and if I miss the tackle horribly, that's okay, because my goal is to try 100 tackles. And then eventually, what I would have failed on to begin with, which is just simple rush up the line, 10-meter tackle, I now do with ease. And then maybe I fail on a kick chase, and I keep failing at kick chases, but I keep going for them. But eventually, I smash them, and then I keep doing that. And then eventually, maybe I get another higher level that I don't know of yet. I keep going, and then when I reach that, then you look back and you go, yeah, I was failing a lot. I failed a lot, but I also made like 10 times progress I have in 12 years. Like, I've been doing contact for like 5 years, 6 years, I don't know. And I probably made like this much. And then when I'm going to do this failure thing, it's going to go from like here to that progress will just rocket, because it takes out the fear of failure, so you get more inputs, which gives you more output. Sometimes it's just about maximizing input. Yeah, you can have the most efficient thing, but if one person, like most efficient sales scripts, but if you call one person a day, you get one client a day. And you might have 100%, I might have a 10% conversion rate. But if I call 1,000 people a day, I beat you. So sometimes it's inputs. And that's why I'm telling you to fail better. And it's changing the goals. Like, there's a future topic I'll touch on right now to give you a little bit sneak peek of what's in my brain here. But it's perfection is the enemy of progress. So when you try to get 100% conversions on everything, you don't make enough money, because maybe you do achieve that, but it doesn't happen. So I think change perfection. Change what the definition of perfection is. Because I'm not going to change my mental habits. Like, changing my whole like mental networks, a little bit harder than just going, let's change the goal. Like, one's a lot easier to do. So I changed the goal from 100% conversion rate to 100 calls. And if I convert no one, hopefully tomorrow I convert someone. So it's slight improvement in just doing volume. And if you do that, like, if I can surf now, and I'm going to do business, and it's just about volume. Like, do something shit and do it again, and hopefully eventually you'll become better and better at it until you're eventually good. You suck so little, you become good. That's Alex Hormozi thing again. Fail better, fail bigger. Everything you do, try to do it bigger. Not do it worse. Just, if you were to fail, why not fail big? Like, would it be better if you messed up a 100K client, or $100 client, or $100,000 client? Like, if you mess up a $100,000 client, you'd probably be able to convert a $10,000 client much easier. If you mess up a $100 client, it's probably still going to be hard to convert a $10,000 client. So fail big and you'll learn a lot more. Because you learn a lot more from failure than you do from victories. Because you can win or you can learn. Sometimes you can do both, but you'll always do one. So make sure, keep that in mind whenever you do something. Happy I got to use that quote. Keep working on your journey success. I had a few other videos. My last one I'm quite tired in. I'm not as hyped up as I am now, but they're all very valuable in my opinion. I think this is one of my most valuable ones. Any other ones are still very valuable. Like, subscribe, enjoy my stuff, and get on your journey. Don't be afraid of failure. And if you are, get it out of your head. Change perfection. Work harder. Fail at bigger things, so then smaller things are easier to do. That's kind of summarized everything in this video. Hopefully it's been valuable to you. If it hasn't, watch some other stuff that'll be more valuable. Right, enjoy.